London, 1888. The city was gripped by fear. In the shadows of Whitechapel, a killer stalked the streets, preying on vulnerable women and leaving behind a trail of death and mystery. This is the story of Jack the Ripper, the most infamous, unsolved serial killer case in history. Welcome back to History Archives. Today we're diving deep into one of the most chilling and perplexing unsolved mysteries, the murders of Jack the Ripper. Who was he? Why did his reign of terror suddenly end? And why has his identity remained a mystery for more than 130 years? Let's explore. To understand Jack the Ripper, we need to go back to Whitechapel in 1888. This part of London was a dangerous place, teeming with poverty, crime, and disease. Thousands of people lived in cramped, squalid conditions. The streets were narrow, dirty, and dimly lit, making it a breeding ground for criminal activity. Whitechapel was home to many of the city's poorest residents, including immigrants and women who worked as prostitutes to survive. It was in this gritty, desperate environment that the Ripper began his killing spree. Between August and November of 1888, 5 women were brutally murdered in Whitechapel. They are known as the Canonical Five. Their names were All 5 women were attacked in the dead of night. They were strangled, and then their bodies were horrifically mutilated. Jack the Ripper was not just a murderer. He was a monster who left his victims disfigured and unrecognizable. On August 31, 1888, the body of Mary Ann Nichols was discovered in Bucks Row. She was the first known victim of the Ripper. Just a week later, on September 8th, Annie Chapman was found murdered in the backyard of a house on Hanbury Street. Her body was severely mutilated, with organs removed, a gruesome signature that would become the Ripper's hallmark. The killings continued. On the night of September 30th, 2 women were murdered in what became known as the double event, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. Stride's murder was interrupted, but Eddowes wasn't so fortunate. Her body was found horribly disfigured and her kidney had been removed. Then, on November 9, 1888, the Ripper's most violent crime took place. Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest of the victims, was found in her room, mutilated beyond recognition. Her death marked the end of the Ripper's killing spree, but also left more questions than answers. During the Ripper's reign of terror, the media played a significant role. The murders were covered extensively in newspapers, which sensationalized the story and fueled public fear. Adding to the mystery were the letters supposedly written by the killer himself. One of the most famous is the Dear Boss letter, sent to the Central News Agency. In it, the writer taunts the police and signs off with the now iconic name, Jack the Ripper. Then there's the From Hell letter, which was sent with half of a preserved human kidney, allegedly taken from one of the victims. The authenticity of these letters remains a topic of debate among historians. But were these letters really written by the Ripper? Or were they a hoax designed to stir up even more panic? Over the years, dozens of suspects have been named as Jack the Ripper, ranging from doctors to royalty to ordinary citizens. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding Jack the Ripper is why he suddenly stopped killing. After the murder of Mary Jane Kelly, there were no more documented Ripper murders. Did he die? Was he imprisoned for another crime? Or did he simply move elsewhere? These are questions that continue to haunt historians and true crime enthusiasts alike, and to this day we still don't have definitive answers. Though the murders ended in 1888, the legend of Jack the Ripper has lived on. Today, Whitechapel is a hotspot for Ripper tours and museums, drawing in thousands of tourists every year. The Ripper has inspired countless books, movies, and TV shows, becoming a symbol of unsolved mystery and terror.